So, the material we're diving into today, honestly, it kicks off with this quote that I think is going to make a lot of people,
A little uncomfortable.
yeah, that's a good word for it. It goes,
Right.
if you've ever thought, I'm just here to do my job, I don't do politics, I have bad news for you.
You're already playing.
You're just playing badly. And wow, that's a direct hit.
It's the splash of cold water to the face that most professionals need, but, absolutely do not want.
It's terrifying because I think most of us pride ourselves on not being that person. You
Right.
know, the one who just keeps their head down, does good work, and tries to ignore all the drama.
And we see that as a moral high ground. But this argument is that it's not moral, it's just. It's a strategic failure.
A failure, that's strong.
Well, it is.
Yeah.
Because it's based on a total misunderstanding of what office politics even is. When people hear that phrase, they immediately think of, like, House of Cards or something.
Right. Backstabbing, scheming. It feels slimy.
Exactly. It feels optional. But if we just strip away all the negative stuff, politics is simply the word for how humans operate in groups of more than three. That's really it.
It's the operating system of the office.
It is. And if you refuse to learn the interface, you can't run any of your programs. You can't get anything done.
So, okay, if it's not just about scheming, what are the actual mechanics? The material breaks it down into 3 specific buckets that seem a lot more practical.
Oh, they're very practical. It all boils down to 3 things: power, resources, and relationships. That's the triad.
Power, resources, relationship.
Power is just who has the ability to make a decision.
Mhm.
Resources, well, that's who controls the budget, the head count, even the meeting schedule. And relationships is just who trusts whom.
But when you put it like that, it just sounds like normal business.
It is normal business. That's the whole point. You can't do your actual job without engaging in these 3 things.
So the goal of our deep dive today isn't to turn everyone into some Machiavellian villain.
No, not at all. It's about moving from being a passive player, the one who gets completely blindsided by a reorg, to having what the source calls strategic awareness.
It's self-defense, really.
It's about protection.
Yeah.
Because if you don't know the rules of the game, you're going to step on a landmine. And the first step is learning to read the map, or as this puts it, seeing the invisible org chart.
I love this concept because it explains so much frustration. We all get that official chart from HR, you know?
Yeah.
The neat little pyramid.
The one that tells you who can fire you. And look, that chart is real, don't get me wrong.
It's a legal document.
It's a legal document, not a functional one.
Right.
The invisible org chart. That's the one that tells you how work actually gets done. It maps where the influence really lives.
And it rarely lines up with the job titles.
Almost never.
Okay, let's get into the specifics here because I think this is where people get tripped up. We're talking about very specific types of unofficial power.
Right. Let's start with information power. This is often the first mistake people make. They look at, say, an executive assistant, and they see support staff. But they don't realize that person sees every single email that goes to the CEO. They control the calendar.
They know about the merger 3 months before the VPs do.
Precisely. They are the gatekeepers. And if you've been dismissive to that person, guess what? You're never getting that 15 minutes you need with the director. That's a huge amount of power.
Then you've got expert power. This is the person who's been there for like 15 years.
The institutional memory.
Yes.
The one who knows how the legacy billing system really works.
And they are dangerous to cross.
Because the company literally depends on them. They might be a mid-level employee on paper, but if they say this project won't work, the project just stops.
I feel like relationship power is the one we see most easily. The social butterfly.
The social glue, yeah. But it's deeper than just being friendly. These are the people who can cross departmental silos. If you need a favor from marketing, you go to them. They trade in social capital.
And then there's the one that always scares me a little, proxy power.
It should scare you. It's the I'm close to the king dynamic.
Like the junior analyst who plays golf with the CEO every weekend.
Exactly. Or the founder's nephew. When they speak, you have to wonder if they're speaking for themselves or for their powerful connection. I've seen senior people get fired over a trivial argument with someone who had proxy power.
So how do we spot this? I mean, no one wears a sign.
No. But the material has a great tip. Watch where the eyes go.
Watch the eyes.
Seriously, next time you're in a meeting and a tough question is asked, don't look at the person talking. Look at everyone else. Who do they all glance at before they react?
They're checking to see how the real leader is taking it.
Exactly. They're checking for safety. If you can spot who gets those glances, you've found the real center of power in the room.
Okay, so we've mapped the terrain. Now let's talk about the landmines. The material calls them initiation rights, which are basically the big mistakes almost everyone makes at some point.
And you usually only make them once.
I bet. The first one is a classic, skipping the chain of command.
It's so tempting. You've got a great idea, your boss is a roadblock, so you think, I'll just email their boss.
Seems logical. You're trying to help the company.
It's logical, but it's politically suicidal.
Yeah.
You're signaling to your manager that you don't respect their authority. You've now created a permanent enemy in the person who controls your daily life.
So unless it's an actual HR issue, you stay in your lane.
You have to. Or at the very least, you tell your manager you're going to escalate it with them, never behind their back.
This next one really got me. Complaints always travel up.
Always. And here's the part people miss. You're out for drinks. You're venting to a colleague you trust about the new strategy. You think you're just bonding.
Misery loves company.
But misery is also currency. When you complain, you hand that colleague a valuable coin they can cash in later.
Ow.
In their next one-on-one with the boss, they can say, I know some people are struggling with the new strategy, but I really see the vision. They use your complaint to make themselves look more loyal.
Oh, that is dark. They throw you under the bus just to get a little boost.
It's not personal. It's just
Yeah.
leverage. You have to assume anything you say to a colleague will get back to your boss.
Let's talk about the new guy arrogance. I feel like I have definitely been guilty of this.
Oh, me too. You start a new job, you see a process that's obviously broken, and you say, wow, this is a mess. At my last job, we did it this way.
And you think you're being so helpful.
But what everyone else in the room hears is, you are all idiots.
You're insulting their history without understanding it.
Right. You don't know why that fence is there. Maybe it's for a legal reason. Maybe the CEO built it. Ask questions first. Help me understand why we do it this way is a million times better than this is wrong.
Okay, let's get tactical. Because the battlefield for a lot of this is just our email inbox.
It's such a huge mindset shift. We treat email like it's a conversation. But in an office, email is evidence. It's a permanent record.
Which brings us to the weaponization of CC and BCC.
Right. Most people use CC just to keep people in the loop. But politically, it can be a pressure tactic. If I email you asking for a report, that's a request.
But if you CC my boss...
Now it's a threat. It's the, I'm watching you and so's your manager move. You have to use that one very, very carefully.
And what about BCC, the blind carbon copy?
The snitch copy. The rule here is so simple. Just don't. Never use BCC to tattle on a colleague to your boss.
Because the reply all button exists.
The reply all is the guillotine of the corporate world. Eventually, someone will hit it, your boss will pop up in the thread, and you will look deceptive and petty. Just forward the email after you send it if you need to.
There's one specific email template in here that I think is worth its weight in gold, the CYA email. Cover your assets.
For that vague hallway conversation where a decision was made but nothing was written down.
And then 3 months later, everyone has amnesia.
Everyone. I never proved that.
So walk us through the script. How do you lock it down?
The tone has to be breezy, but the content is firm. You get back to your desk and you write, hey, name, great chatting just now.
Simple enough.
Just to confirm I've got this right. We agreed to pause the marketing spend for Q1. State the fact.
And here's the magic phrase.
This is it. I'll move forward with that plan unless I hear otherwise from you by end of day.
It shifts the burden of action to them.
Completely. If they don't reply, you have your approval. You're bulletproof. You have a time-stamped record.
Let's move from the inbox to the conference room. Meetings. The material calls them political theater.
I love that framing. Because the real decision is almost never made in the meeting. The meeting is just where the decision gets performed for an audience.
So if we're in the audience, what are we looking for?
You're watching for interruptions. Who gets to talk without being cut off, and who constantly gets talked over.
And that tells you the real hierarchy in the room.
It tells you the hierarchy of respect, which is more important. And if you're the one who keeps getting ignored or interrupted, there are strategies for that.
Like what? I think a lot of people feel that pain.
The first one is to speak up earlier in the meeting, before the agenda gets totally hijacked. Another is to find an ally beforehand.
The amplification strategy?
Yes. You tell a colleague, hey, I'm going to pitch this idea, can you back me up? And then when you pitch it, they jump in and say, I think that's a great point, let's explore that more.
And you do the same for them.
You do the same for them, you protect each other's airtime. It's a huge power move, and it makes you both look like leaders.
Okay, we have to talk about the most dangerous part of the office landscape, gossip.
It's inevitable.
The material is interesting on this. It doesn't say never listen to gossip.
It says you have to listen.
Mm.
Gossip is the company's unofficial warning system. If everyone is whispering about layoffs and you're above it all, you're the one who's going to be shocked when your key card stops working.
So you listen.
But you don't contribute. You want to be a data sink, not a data source.
A data sink. I like that.
You just listen, you nod, and you say the magic words. Wow, that sounds complicated.
That's the perfect neutral response.
It acknowledges them without agreeing with anything. It keeps you safe.
And what's the absolute ironclad rule here?
Never, ever, ever gossip in writing. Slack, text, email, Teams, anything. Assume everything you type is going to be projected onto a screen at the next all-hands meeting. If you wouldn't want it there, don't type it.
That's a terrifyingly effective visual.
Well, keeps you honest.
So after all this, the invisible charts, the landmines, the email warfare, I can hear someone listening and thinking, this is exhausting. I just want to do my job.
I get that. I really do. But here's the thing. You are already doing this work. You're already sending emails. You're already in meetings. You're just doing it without a strategy.
It's not about adding more work. It's about making the work you're already doing more effective.
Exactly. And there's a huge difference between toxic politics, which is about tearing other people down, and political competence. Competence is knowing how to get resources for your team. It's knowing how to protect your people from a bad decision. That isn't evil.
That's just being effective. If you ignore the game, you're not taking some moral high ground. You're just letting someone else decide your career path for you.
You're handing the keys over to whoever is willing to play the game. And they might not have your best interests at heart.
So here's the challenge for everyone listening, the homework assignment, if you will. Take a look at the last big decision made in your workplace. A promotion, a project getting killed, whatever.
Don't just look at the final outcome. Ask yourself, how did this actually happen? Was it the official HR process?
Or was it a quiet conversation in a hallway? Was it the invisible org chart at work?
Once you start seeing the strings, you can't unsee them.
And that's when you start playing well.
Stay strategic out there.
Thanks for diving in with us. We'll see you next time.